Hi, I'm Mike Ignatowski, the creator of the PurpleWolf Basketball Spreadsheet, the spreadsheet that aims to help you get more enjoyment out of your tabletop basketball projects by doing a lot of the work, if not all the work, of tracking your team and players' game stats and season stats, as well as team standings and schedules. By doing that, you'll get more time to play your games, have more fun, and maybe take on projects that you wouldn't otherwise take on. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate and describe how the PurpleWolf upgrade process works when you want to upgrade your current PurpleWolf basketball spreadsheet to a newer version. Okay, so let's talk about upgrades a second. With PurpleWolf, there's two kinds of upgrades. There's a bug fix upgrade and a feature upgrade. The bug fix upgrade contains no new features or enhanced features, but really just fixes one or more known issues or problems, or otherwise known as bugs. You can tell if a release is a bug fix release, if you want to call it that, by the version number. In a bug fix update, only the last digit will change. Like in this example, I show 1.20 to 1.22. Because only the last digit changed, that means it's a bug fix update or a bug fix release. I might also call it a minor release. So it doesn't mean the numbers are always going to be consecutive from 20 to 21, because I might have it. In this case, I might have a 1.21 that I gave to somebody to test out, and they found some problems that I had to fix in that, so I never released it to the public. And I went right to 1.22. So that's how you can tell if it's a bug fix. If just the last digit, the second digit after the decimal point, changes in the version. And that, as I say here in my letter C here, depending on your league setup, you may not need to perform every bug fix upgrade depending on what your league setup is. Some bug fixes only affect, a specific situation. Maybe it only affects custom leagues. And if you've got a historical league, then it's not getting in your way, so you don't have to use it. So that's something about bug fix upgrades. Number 2 here about feature upgrades. It's kind of just the opposite on the version numbers. I'm going to talk about A and B here. That the last digit may or may not change, but for sure the main or in the first digit after the decimal point will change. Here 1.20 to 1.30, or 2.42 to 2.51. So you can think of it as the main version of the spreadsheet includes the first digit after the decimal point. And as long as that changes, that means there's new content. As a general rule, I'd say most or many users will want to take advantage of feature upgrades because it's got new and hopefully better stuff, like a new stat or better box score, or maybe it's got, just does something better than it did before. And another reason to try to keep up or not get too far behind with the main version of the spreadsheet is that when you want to apply the next feature upgrade, that if your version is too old, then I might not be able to, I'll say, upgrade it with a click of a button. It might be, quote, too old. This spreadsheet, when I made this video, isn't that old yet, so that's not a problem. But in my baseball spreadsheet, Green Fox, when I put out a feature release, a lot of times it'll only look back so many versions to update those automatically. And if it's before that minimum version, it'll say you can't upgrade that because it's just too old. There's too many changes that I can't keep track of. So my point there is, in general, it's worth trying to keep up with the main upgrades just so you can be able to get the new features and not be kind of stuck on an island. So anyway, that's kind of explaining the different types of upgrades. All right, so let's move on and talk about what the upgrade process actually does. So when you click on the upgrade button, which I'll show you when I do the live demo, what the spreadsheet does is look for other PurpleWolf spreadsheets that are open. They have to be open for the upgrade to work. It doesn't look on your hard drive for these files. They have to be open, similar to the way you need that basketball reference data sheet open when you want to create a historical league or something like that, or use those rosters. Same kind of thing. Probably the most important thing about the upgrade process is that it doesn't change anything in your original, or I'll say current, PurpleWolf spreadsheet file. All it does is copy from that. So it's a very safe upgrade process, as it doesn't alter anything that you already had. It just copies from it into the new spreadsheet, and that's how you get the new features, because it copies your old data into the new spreadsheet that has the new features. Bullet point number 3 here, that when it does it, all the league configuration and game results are copied from your old version into the new one. That includes teams, rosters, lineups, schedules, stats, options, whatever. Pretty much everything. And if it doesn't, it'll probably give you a message that tells you that it didn't do something or isn't designed to copy something. But in general, it'll copy everything you need. An important thing to say about the stats is that only the PGL stat sheet, the player game log stat sheet, is copied. The other stat sheets are not copied, and the reason is because they can all be generated from the data on the PGL sheet, the player game log. So that's why they're not copied. And it also uses the schedule results. So between the player stats and the game results, that has all the unique information that's needed. And at the end of the spreadsheet upgrade process, or towards the end, after it copies all the data from those different sheets, it'll prompt you, the user, about, hey, do you want to generate the stats, the season stats, the team log stats, and the league leaders? And I would say usually it's a good option to say yes and let it generate that data right there. That way you'll have confidence and know right away that everything worked. Okay, so a couple things about the upgrade process that I want to mention. Whether you're doing a bug fix or a feature upgrade, the basic process is the same as far as, in general, what's going on. The main difference between the two is when you have a feature upgrade, it'll tell you some of the new features that are contained in the new version. If you're applying a bug fix upgrade, there are no new features to tell you about. So it just says it completed it and then asks you about computing the stats. So there might be some different messages if you're doing a feature upgrade, but other than that, the process is the same. So with that, I'm going to now do a live demo of an upgrade, of a bug fix upgrade, and we'll see how that works. Okay, so here's the spreadsheet I'm going to upgrade. It is a historical team season. You can see here, HTS. I can look at my league sheet. You can see it's a 1974 Pistons replay. If you look at my score sheet, you can see it's pretty boring as far as these stats go. But if I look at this config sheet here, you can see I don't have any 3-pointers here, but I just got a few settings set. I do have this maximum bench set to 7, which is different than the default. That's what I want to point out. On the options sheet, I have numbers 9 and 11 turned off. And I would not recommend turning those off. I just have those off so that we can confirm that the upgrade is copying my settings properly. If I look at my stat sheet, you can see here I've got some stats. So that's what I want to show up. That's what I'm upgrading. So I'm starting with this. I have it open. Now I already downloaded version 1.22. That's the bug fix upgrade. And I'm going to open up that one now. And that's brand new. So when I open it, I get this welcome screen or welcome window, I'm going to click this up right here, upgrade an existing PurpleWolf League spreadsheet, which is my piston one. That's what I want to upgrade. So I'll click that button, and it gives me this little message that says, hey, you got to have this, other version open, and you'll click the upgrade existing PurpleWolf spreadsheet on the league sheet. So that's what I'm going to do. And then when I click OK here, it already has me on the league sheet, and here's this upgrade existing PurpleWolf League button. So I'm going to click that, and we'll get started here. Well, I'm going to click it in a second. I first want to show on the score sheet that this is 1.22. And if you click this version, it'll prompt you and say, do you want to view the version worksheet? I'm going to say yes, just for demonstration purposes. So it bumps me over to the version sheet, which is like almost the last sheet in the spreadsheet. But it tells me basically when 1.22 is released and some basic info about it. This is just showing that it corrects some league ID validation issue and a potential upgrade problem. So now let's go back to our league sheet and get started. So like the big purple button says, click this to upgrade. So I'll click it. And the important part here is you're clicking upgrade from the new sheet, not your old one, but the new one you downloaded. So the first thing you get is this message. It says before you can successfully upgrade it, any sheet, you can't have any hidden rows, especially in these three sheets. The MPL, which stands for the master player list, the rosters, or the schedule. Now, I already know I don't. I looked at it. But if you wanted to, just make sure that if you can go to those sheets, make sure that you don't have any filters turned on in any of those sheets. This upgrade process will detect it, and it'll fail and tell you that if it finds any, but it doesn't do it ahead of time. So if it does run into problems, you just have to unhide those rows and then start the process again, and it'll work. Okay, so do you want to continue? Yes. So now this is where it's looking at what else is open. And you can see here it's not, you have to really read this, but it asks me if I want to upgrade the DET74_V120 Excel spreadsheet to PurpleWolf version 1.22. And that's what I want to upgrade. If I had another PurpleWolf spreadsheet open, it would go through each one and ask me, do you want to upgrade this one? And if you say no, it'll look for the next one. And it may until it tells you there aren't any more. So if I say no, it'll just say I can't find any more PurpleWolf Excel workbooks out there, so I'm done. And this is just telling you how to do the upgrade. So let's start over here and click the button. Yes, continue. Now this is the one I want to upgrade. So a couple things. It says it has to have a valid PurpleWolf League. This says 1.5 or newer, but that's actually an error. It should be 1.2. And it just says all the existing data in this current PurpleWolf spreadsheet will be overwritten. That's this new one, which really should have nothing in it. But it's going to prompt you to overwrite that 3 times just to be sure. And that's what it'll do now. I'll say, yes, I do want to upgrade that. So this is where it's saying, do you want to initialize all league data? And that's in the new spreadsheet. So I probably should change the wording here so it's not as scary, but so I'm going to say yes. This is just double check and triple check. Let's go. So now it's going to do its Excel magic. Hopefully it's good magic. And it's going to try to copy all the necessary data from the different sheets from the old one into the new one. And while it's going, don't touch it. All right, this is expected. When it copies the like config sheet and stuff, it'll say the score sheet stat columns and feature settings have been updated using what's on the config sheet. It looks good here. I'll just click OK. This is checking the injury chart. There's nothing here, so it's going to ignore it. And then hopefully you'll get this message that says awesomeness, that the spreadsheet upgrade looks to be successful. So you should review your league sheets to confirm. It says before continuing, but really when you can. You could stop now, but this next question it's talking about the stats. It says it doesn't copy any team or season stats. And it's asking me if I want to compute those stats for upgraded league now. And I can see here that it looks like it copied it. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, yeah, go ahead and do it. Otherwise, I could say no and then go to the stats and do it manually. But I just want to show this process. So I'm going to say, yes, compute these stats. And the fact that I can see some numbers here gives me confidence that it actually copied the stats over and it's got something to work with. So what it did was it copied, or it's populating the TGL, the team game log, the player season stats, and then the team season stats. And then it's prompting me, hey, do I want to compute the league leaders? Sure. So I'll click yes there. Wait a few seconds or more while it juggles these numbers around. And hopefully I'll get a message like this: league leaders computed. So now I'm on my new sheet. And what I'm going to do before I do anything else, because this looks pretty good, is I'm going to save this as the name I want, because this has my generic name, the PurpleWolf122. So I'm going to go to File and say Save As. And here was my original. So I like to click on this and say I want to call this now my Detroit 7.4 version 1.22. So I'll save that. I like to have this in here so I know what my league is, as well as what version I'm working with. So now we'll take a look over and make sure everything worked right. So let's review some of these sheets. Let's start with the schedule sheet. Let me go to here and use my navigator. Look at the schedule. There are my 3 games. I didn't memorize the scores, but I could look at them. These look good. My standings. This looks good. My injury chart, I had nothing on it. And I didn't have any league notes or a box score. So let's go to my league setup. Look at my league setup. This looks good. 74 Pistons. I'm not going to mess with this master player list. So I'm going to assume I could compare if I want to do this 222, but in general, I feel like things worked. Rosters. Oh, the lineups. You can see here it copied my 4 lineups that I had. If I want to look at this, I could just see that it click on these team name and it'll expand that team name, and I have my lineups, so that looks good. If I go to my score sheet setup, look at my config sheet, I'll look at that first. So here, this copied over as it should. I have my 7 and my maximum number of bench players, and these are all the default, so that looks good. If I go to the game options, here are those 2 that I had off that I don't recommend being off, so I'm going to turn them on now. So that looks like it copied properly. I'm going to update those. And then I'll go to my stats. If I look at the player game log, this is what the only thing it copied was this player game log for my games. And I'll sort by this season game number That way you can kind of see each game. Like there's the Pistons Knicks. The second game is Pistons Hawks. And the third game of Pistons Bulls. Looks good. If I look at my other sheets, my team game log, see I've got 6 rows for these 3 games that I played. If I look at the player season stats, which are going to be pretty much the same as the game log because each only played, well, no, the Pistons will have 3 games. So if I look at the Pistons, let's just kind of look at that. You'll see here they've got, this guy's got 3 games, so that looks good. And my team season stats look fine. If I go to my leaders, I'd expect to see more Pistons in the total because they played 3 games. But if I go to my per game, I'll see some different stuff. This looks good. My single game, that looks good. So that's how simple the upgrade process should be. And again, I want to say it's a safe upgrade. It doesn't change your original or your older file. If I go down here and I can hover and go on my Detroit, my version 1.2, it's showing the status sheet now, but I can close this. It may prompt me, but it didn't really save anything. It just switched some sheets around as far as activating them. So I'm just going to say, no, don't save anything because it didn't really do anything. And this is my successfully upgraded 1974 Detroit Piston Historical Team Season League, continuing where it left off, but now using version 1.22. Hopefully all of the upgrades you do will go this smoothly. So again, thank you for watching. Hopefully you'll find this beneficial. And don't forget to box out.